Good evening, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Coming back on tonight. Just got done with the Zoom a little while ago with Malika, of course. And if you guys watched my video earlier, we were talking about, in part, variances from categorical pretreatment standards for fundamentally different factors. We in part discussed that, and that's because that's the way the record is created. There's fundamental different factors that are not being applied, and we have to make a note of that so that they can correct the records. So, in line with the video earlier, and continuing on with some more research, of course, I came up with some interesting codes I want to point out. And so we're going to go to my Lawful Living page because I haven't posted these on Facebook yet. 17 CFR 240.15C1-5. Can you hear me? Somebody let me know they can hear me. Kenneth says there's no sound. I believe if there's no sound, Kenneth, it would be on your end. Somebody else, please let me know. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay. Disclosure of control. Remember this, the earlier video we were talking about name control. Okay. The term manipulative, deceptive, or other fraudulent device, as in a device to enumerate. Instrumentality of enumeration of names. A record-keeping device. Or contrivance as used in Section 15C1 of the Act is hereby defined to include any act of any broker, dealer, municipal securities dealer controlled by, controlling, or under common control with the issue of any security designed to effect with or for the account of a customer any transaction in or to induce the purchase or sale by such customer of such security unless such broker, dealer, or municipal securities dealer before entering into any contract with or for such customer for the purchase or sale of such security discloses to such customer the existence of such control, and unless such disclosure, if not made in writing, if is supplemented by the giving or sending of written disclosure at or before the completion of the transaction. Now pay attention, people. This is going to play very important. This played a large part in the communications with PayPal. And in those videos, you will see I had a concern with other entities that I had to deal with in the same fashion, Zoom being one of them. And Zoom has now cut off ex parte communications before completion of the transaction so that we can be certain that it is a private transaction and not a public transaction. This is failure to accommodate. False or misleading statements. No information statement shall contain any statement which, at the time and in the light of the circumstances, and this is 17 CFR 240.14C-6, false or misleading statements in concurrence with 15 USC 1692E. and 1692J. No information statement shall contain any statement which at the time and in the light of the circumstances under which it is made is false or misleading with respect to any material fact, or which omits to state any material fact necessary in order to make the statements therein not false or misleading, or necessary to correct any statement in any earlier communication with respect to the same meeting or subject matter which has become false or misleading. I have a duty to disclose the material statements therein that are proving the record false or misleading, so that I can correct those statements in those earlier communications with respect to the same judicial subject matter which is now known to be false for its improper valuation or evaluation. The fact that an information statement given by Mom as the informant has been filed with or examined by the Commission shall not be deemed a finding by the Commission that such material is accurate or complete or not false or misleading, or that the Commission has passed upon the merits of or approved any statement contained therein. This is why we need the Commission to inspect the record. This is the Security Exchange Commission here. Or any matter to be acted upon by security holders. If you hold a Social Security card, you are a security holder. If you hold that number as intellectual, intangible property in your head and you merely can remember it, you are a security holder. No representation contrary to the foregoing shall be made. Title 17, Commodity and Securities Exchanges, Chapter 2, Securities and Exchange Commission, Part 240, General Rules and Regulations, Securities Exchange Act of 1934, Hypothecation of Customer Securities. And when you read that, it's going to give you all the different terms and things under that hypothecation. As we read on further, it has to do with the Emergency Banking Act and the Federal Reserve Act. And come to find out, both of those, which are judicial in nature, and both put out by Congress, neither one of them have authority, and neither does Congress, because you would not believe it unless you read it. Who regulates the congressional budget? Who do you folks suppose regulates the congressional budget? Do you suppose that would be the Commission and its offices, whose authority is under 39 U.S. Code, and its source comes from 5 U.S.C. 552? Postal Regulatory Commission, Congressional Budget Justification. It is, in fact, the Postal Regulatory Commission that justifies the congressional budget, because the Postal Regulatory Commission is, in fact, the judiciary. Purpose. This part is published in compliance with 5 U.S.C. 552A1. Notice, the source or authority is 39 U.S.C. 503 and 5 U.S.C. 552, which is public records, orders, opinions, and such, which is the Freedom of Information Act, whereas its purpose is in compliance with 5 U.S.C. 552A1, which is the same part referring to 552A, records on individuals or individual records, which is the Freedom of Information Act, or excuse me, the Privacy Act. It supersedes the public records. The Privacy Act supersedes the public records, and it constitutes a general description of the Postal Regulatory Commission. It constitutes a general description because this Constitution of the United States must be in compliance with the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union. And the preamble itself of the Constitution of the United States says to form a more perfect union, meaning it's a union already established, the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union. Statutory functions, and again through Postal Regulatory Commission, determines the areas of jurisdiction. I suggest everybody look at that passport and look at those 5 stars again, and maybe sometime ask the Postal Regulatory Commission what those 5 stars might mean in their rating system according to the Postal Rate Commission. Postal Regulatory Commission and Postal Rate Commission. Code of Federal Regulations, the Commission and its offices. Areas: the Commission develops and maintains regulation for a modern system of rate regulation, including maintaining the market dominant and competitive product lists in the mail classification schedule and ensuring that rates meet the requirements of 39 U.S.C. 3622 and 3633. Modern rate regulation. And here it says 3623 to 3625 has been repealed. Related to mail classification. 3263, related to mail classification. Okay? Who's classifying everybody? Who requires the identification? You know, the Postal Service doesn't require identification. They have secret security clearances. Secret security clearances. Internal ID cards. And they're not required to have license plates either. Why? Why is that? They're the ones that regulate the shit. That's why the postal system doesn't have plates on those automobiles, motor vehicles, whatever you want to call them. Transit vehicles. So let's look some more. So let's go back here. As you saw, that it's the name control. And like with PayPal, we now have a number control with a private routing number associated with a new name, showing nobody else in that system has control of the name. I do. Okay. Ex parte communications, a rule by the Postal Regulatory Commission. They deal with ex parte communications. They deal with private communications and public communications. They are the Communication Regulatory Commission. They are the First Amendment, freedom of speech. the Commission is issuing a set of final rules amending existing Commission rules related to ex parte communications. Remember, we talked about relation documentation in the video earlier. The final rules are consistent with the recommended approach to agency treatment of ex parte communications. Relative to the proposed rules, some rules were restructured based on comments received. Others were modified to alleviate confusion. That's Federal Register again. Tells you the name and a phone number you can call. That's General Counsel of the Postal Regulatory Commission. Okay? Title 41, Public Contracts and Property Management. Other provisions relating to public contracts, Chapter 60, Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, Equal Employment Opportunity, Department of Labor, Part 60, Rules of Practice for Administrative Procedures, to enforce equal opportunity under executive order, hearings and related matters, ex parte communications. Okay? Title 31, Money and Finance, Treasury, B. Subtitle B, Regulations relating to money and finance, Office of Foreign Assets Control, Department of the Treasury, Part 501, Reporting, Procedures and Penalties, Regulations, Subpart D, Trading with the Enemy Act, Penalties at 501.719, Ex parte communications. Postal Regulatory Commission regulates public and private communications, and thus they regulate it through all of these different codes. Title 12, Banks and Banking. Chapter 3, Federal Reserve System. Subchapter A, Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, Part 263, Rules of Practice for Hearings. Subpart A, Uniform Rules of Practice and Procedures, Ex parte Communications. Title 47, Telecommunications. That would be the Federal Communications Commission. Like I said, in the PayPal, your laptop, your phone, they all have an FCC user number. Communications Commission, Subchapter A, General, Part 1, Practice and Procedures, Subpart H, Ex parte Communications. Cybersecurity, Patriot Act, Board of Governors of Federal Reserve, Customer Identification Program, Exemption Program. Again, under the Patriot Act. So telecommunications, to prevent cybersecurity and threats, intimidation by forcing one to use a name and address when you can use a number in lieu of a name and address. You can use a private routing number, proving it's private. Adjudicatory, Title 12, Banks and Banking, Chapter 1, Comptroller of the Currency, Department of the Treasury, Part 109, Rules of Practice and Procedure in adjudicatory proceedings. They are administrating the judicial part for the Postal Regulatory Commission. They are the brokers. The Postal Regulatory Commission is the one that gives them the ability to broker in that fiat currency system according to the judicial regulatory rates. Proceedings, Subpart A, Uniform Rules and Practice and Procedure, Ex parte Communication. Patent, Trademark, and Copyright, United States Patent and Trademark Office, Department of Commerce, Rules of Practice in Patent Cases, Rules of Practice in Trademark Cases. Entity, as used in this part, includes both natural and juristic persons. That ex parte communication was never had. It was done through mom as an informant, and she gave a permission that she wasn't qualified to give. And upon age of 18, age of majority, we start filling out this SS5 application on the belief that we have to, because nobody's told us that as the entity that they're going to start using the 4 letters of the last name and start placing you as a trustee, making firm offers as investments into their court registry investment system, which is a registry of system of records with certain verifiable data sets. So everywhere you go, it's just a different data set, and it's recorded into their investment system, whether it be a court registry, a DMV registry, treasury registry. They're all registry investment systems. Every last one of them. So let's go on to the next one. I need to go to Yahoo. Okay. Now, again, if you saw my videos on PayPal, you saw how I was getting the runaround in email. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of what happens. Oops. I got to be careful here. I don't want to close the ticket. Ticket number 136-99922 has been updated. Reply to this email or follow the link. If this update helps you resolve your issue, please select Close My Ticket below. This is on March 4th. Thanks for contacting Zoom. Kindly send us here a copy of your tax-exempt certification or certificate. I don't have a tax-exempt certificate if I've not contacted the IRS to apply as an organization and then file for a tax-exempt certificate. Okay? Pay attention to those PayPal Zooms and you'll comprehend that. Also, please state here the reason why you cannot submit it via online process for our documentation to request further assistance from our tax team. Oh, there it is. Thanks for contacting Zoom Billing. They want me to submit information that's false before I can request a further assistance from our tax team. Please state here, send us a copy, and state here why you cannot submit it via online. For our documentation to request further assistance from our tax team. So they're pretty much demanding that I submit it to the billing section before they will, again, like PayPal, they're refusing to escalate it to the tax team or to the legal team. They're making a legal determination by telling me I have to give them a tax-exempt certificate. They can't do that. That's a false communication. Okay? Now this is supposed to be a private communication. And what happened is on March 4th, thanks for contacting, kindly send us a copy of your da-da-da-da. And so I sent them a notice and they sent me this saying, well, state here the reason why you can't submit it online. And then I sent them a notice, RE, phone conversation with Shemmer on 3/4/2022. Greetings. Thank you for this opportunity to help prevent further errors in your records. As we discussed, Zoom is asking for proof that Keith Orland Little FBU is a private foundation. As a private foundation, blah, 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 just like PayPal, it's already presumed established as a private foundation and cannot operate as a commercial entity until it becomes organized. And as we spoke in our conversation on the phone, I have the same issue with many corporate entities in the legal course of business. The private foundation is presumed, and the public foundation is a course of record keeping for general public purposes. Supporting this is 26 U.S. Code Section 1.508-1, is not organized. One can copy paste the following number. So they've got all the information and access to it. Okay? Thanks for your response. I have escalated this to our tax team for further checking, and we will reach back to you with more information as soon as possible. Regards, Schemmer. So they did, in fact, escalate it. But then watch. This is the same letter. I don't know why it copies. They copy and copy it back and forth. Your request. 1376512 This is from the tax team now. The other one was from the billing team. This new number is from the tax team, has been updated. Reply to this email or follow the link above, just like the billing one. Just like the billing one. Now we're dealing with Adrienne Fajardo. Keith, I apologize. Our call was unintentionally disconnected. So I sent them a notice of my statement of separation. Again, posting when it was posted and previously noted, pre-existing clarification. Then I got another email from a different guy, John, and it says, my response was, we sent a statement of separation. We believe that clarifies as much as need be. We are a private foundation in development stages and not organized yet. We are still dependent upon donations ourselves from our community. We would have no problem passing on a donation value of a 1-year subscription for use as a pass-through beneficial user only. We neither buy or sell any goods or services whatsoever. We write these words are true and faithful. Reverently, Chaplain Keith. Request 1376512 Billing key was closed and merged into this request. Last comment in request 1376512. We sent a separation statement. Your request, 1376512 has been updated. Reply to this email or follow the link above. This request was closed and merged into request 136999922 billing. It was merged into the billing. Request 1376512 billing queue call. Was closed and merged into this request. So effectually what they did was they merged and closed both of the billing and the tax keys, closing off the communication lines, basically failing to accept my offer in honor of a donation for a 1-year subscription, amending the terms in return for a pass-through account so that I'm not holding public liability and no public liability can be put on me. So now we're going to get a hold of the FCC and establish arbitration communication lines. By establishing the FCC user number was in fact in communication, and they did seemingly cut off communications of arbitration and negotiations, which is today known as legal tender. I'm not going to play any games, people. Like I said, this one issue with PayPal is going to start helping me develop my remedy for the rest of the things that I have to deal with. So think about this, and remember, I'm doing this for you guys. So let's look at the last thing here. As we spoke of in Malika's Zoom this afternoon, their paperwork is earmarked. And as I explained in that Zoom, you know how cattlemen used to brand their cattle? Well, we don't see that so much anymore. It's come to be known to be much more humane to just clip a tag in their ear, and this is known as earmarking their property. Now, all of these earmarks are relative security numbers, and they are related to birth registrations under the Department of Agriculture. And that Department of Agriculture birth registration is issued forth under the authority of 5 U.S.C. 301. Just like in the regular hospital birth registrations. They're all birth registrations. And again, that 7 U.S.C. 136 is classifying animals, includes man. The term international application, as used in this part, means, in addition to the definition in Section 60 of the Act, an application seeking an extension of protection of the international registration in an initial designation filed under the protocol relating to the Madrid Agreement concerning the international registration of marks. Like I said, the United States itself can't actually register a mark for itself. It can't copyright it. It can only hold the records. So as holder of the record, it holds a liability obligation to protect them. And that's all it is. If that name is in that record and it's supposed to be heading towards a national archive, it's based on 3 records. 3 numinant records: the death numinant, the application numinant, and the claim numinant. If there's no international claim, then they're going to use it as a national application, and you're going to be considered as an investor for their court registry investment system, the Department of Motor Vehicles investment system, the bank's investment system, the IRS investment system, Social Security Administration. They're all investment systems, and they use data sets, data elements, and they vary from system to system. And that's why I keep talking about that birth change, changing the name control and the number control, a private routing number with a new name. The merger into a new name. They talk about merging into a new name. And that is the resurrection, the salvation. So I hope people are catching on, and one of these days we'll all be walking together. In the meantime, remember, guys, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be doing this. God bless. Have a great night. And remember to hit that PayPal button and all the share links. Share everything. Have a good one. Bye. Good one, guys. Bye.